Hello friends, welcome to Khobra's Academy. Today we will discuss very important topic in research methodology, that is research hypothesis. A hypothesis is an assumption that is made on the basis of some evidences. Hypothesis is considered as an intelligent guess or prediction that gives direction to the researcher to answer the research question. This is the initial point of any investigation that translates the research question into a prediction. So, whenever you have to start the research work or research process, first thing we have to make some assumption regarding what kind of work, what kind of research problem we have to solve, and that all assumptions made or comprise of hypothesis which defines what the researcher is going to do. It includes components like variables, populations, and the relation between the variables. Thus, a hypothesis or hypotheses are defined as the formal statement of the tentative or expected prediction or explanation of the relationship between two or more variables in a specified population. So thus, when we frame a hypothesis, we actually made a formal statement indicating that what are the expected as outcomes, what are our predictions regarding the research work, and which kind of relationship between two or more variables we are going to define or we are going to establish so that to prove the or to find out the solution to the research problem. Thus, a hypothesis is a formal tentative statement of the expected relationship between two or more variables under the study. A hypothesis helps to translate the research problem and objective into clear explanation or prediction of the expected result or outcome of the study. This is one of the important characteristics of hypothesis because it helps to define the research problem, what are the various objectives of the research problem, and what will be the expected outcome or result from the research study. It basically clearly established by a good hypothesis. Hypothesis is derived from the research problems, literature review, and conceptual framework. Hypotheses in research project logically follow literature review and conceptual network. Hypothesis cannot be a blind assumption. It has some solid background based on the study of literature, earlier work, and all. The sources of some of the definitions given by experts in this research methodology field we will discuss in this slide. The first definition, general definition is hypothesis is a tentative prediction or explanation of the relationship between two variables. It implies that there is a systemic relationship, definite relationship between an independent and dependent variables. We must be knowing what is independent variable and what is dependent variable. Dependent variable we can observe based on the changes into the independent variable. Next definition given by Good and Hatt is states that hypothesis is a shrewd guess or inference that is formulated and provisionally adopted to explain observed facts or condition and to guide in further investigation. So Good and Hatt states that it is a inference or a guess adopted based on observed facts and condition and will be able to guide in further investigation to the researcher. Bailey defines hypothesis as a proposition in testable form and predicts a particular relationship between two or more variables. If a researcher thinks that a relationship exists, he should first state it as a hypothesis and then test the hypothesis in the field. So this statement by Bailey is also very important because it says that first, before starting the research work, the researcher must be able to predict the existing relationship or assumed relationship between the two variables, after theoretically stating it, only he can or he should proceed for proving it in the field of research. Next definition is given by Grinnell, who states that hypothesis is written in such a way that it can be proven or disproven by valid and reliable data. So anything which is stated so as to a researcher is able to prove it or disapprove it can be called as a hypothesis. But this process of proving an hypothesis should be based on a valid and reliable data. So, for our discussion, hypothesis is a clear statement of what is intended to be investigated. It should be specified before research is conducted and openly stated in reporting the result. This allows to identify the research objectives. Without hypothesis, without a clearly defined hypothesis, it is very difficult to give clear objectives, clear research objectives. Next, the key abstract concepts involved in the research are also defined properly by a proper hypothesis, and its relationship to the both problem statement and the literature review must be explained by a hypothesis. So, what are the basic features or main features of hypothesis? First important feature of hypothesis is that hypothesis is conceptual in nature. Second, it is a powerful tool of expansion of field of knowledge, consistent with existing knowledge and conducive for further inquiry. So this statement is very important because hypothesis must be able to give a guidance regarding the expansion of existing knowledge regarding the field. Second, it cannot be abruptly stated. It must be consistent with the existing knowledge, and it should be conducive for further inquiry for the expansion of the knowledge in that particular field. Next is, it is an affirmative verbal statement. It is based on references. It indicates the relationship between two or more variables. It can be tested, verified, or falsifiable. It is neither too specific nor too general. It is a prediction of consequences. It is not moral or ethical question. Even if proven false, it is valuable because it guides the researcher who are in future studies that this work, this assumption, this relationship does not exist. So that time efforts are reduced, avoided. Repetition of falsifiable result is avoided. So a hypothesis, regardless of its source, states that a researcher is looking for. So what a researcher is looking for must be clearly defined in a hypothesis statement. Suggest some credible explanations about the probable relationship between the concept or variables. So what the basis of the research problem or research work planned can be credibly explained by a good hypothesis, as it can explain the relationship between two or more variables, or it can correlate concepts for the planned research work. It navigates the research. Without it, no further step is possible in empirical research or non-doctrinal research. Without hypothesis, the research work cannot proceed, cannot be framed, cannot be planned. Because whether it is a doctoral research, academic research, or industrial research, or any kind of research, unless and until there is a hypothesis, we cannot proceed forward. So hypothesis plays a very important role of navigating the research process. A hypothesis helps the researcher in drawing meaningful conclusions supported by relevant empirical data. So, when we try to prove or disapprove a hypothesis, we have to generate relevant data, and with the help of data, we can draw meaningful conclusions. So, a hypothesis serves as a guide for the data that must be collected in order to answer the research problem, the way in which the data should be organized most effectively and meaningfully, the methods that can be used for making analysis of the data. So, these are main guiding functions of hypothesis. Once the hypothesis is properly framed, researcher clearly knows what data has to be collected, how it should be collected, and how it should be analyzed, how the collected data should be analyzed to get the desired outcomes. So, what are various important role and functions of the hypothesis? First important function is it helps in the testing of the theories. Second, it serves as a platform in the research activities. It provides guidance to the research work or study. Hypothesis sometimes suggests theories or develops theory. This is very important function. Most of the theories of science are based on the solid scientific hypotheses. Also, hypothesis acts as a bridge between the theory and the research. It helps in knowing the needs of the data, explains various phenomena, may it social or scientific, provides a relationship between phenomenon in such a way that it leads to the empirical testing of the relationship. It helps in knowing the most suitable technique of analysis of collected data of the research problem. Hypothesis helps in the determination of the most suitable type of research, whether it is what research methodology should be adopted, what ways of data collection should be adopted, all is guided by the hypothesis. It provides knowledge about the required source of data. Research becomes focused under the direction of hypothesis. This is one of the most important function of the hypothesis. If the hypothesis is not clear, the researcher may waste valuable time doing non-important, useless activities regarding the research, which are actually not concerned with the research problem he or she is studying. It is very helpful in carrying out an inquiry of a certain activity. It helps in reaching conclusion if it is correctly drawn. This is also very important function. Based on the approval or disapproval of hypothesis, only conclusions, correct conclusions, inferences can be drawn. So, Mr. Ashan have given 5 important functions of hypothesis whenever a research process is carried out. So, as per the Ashan, it is temporary solution of a problem concerned with some truth, enabling an investigator to start his/her research work. So, at the start of research work, hypothesis gives a temporary solution of a problem which the investigator researcher want to solve. Second important function, it offers a basis of establishing the specifics, what to study, and may provide possible solution to the problem. So hypothesis not only predicts what to study, but also can help the researcher in finding out possible solutions to the problem. Next, each hypothesis may be lead to formulate another hypothesis. Based on one assumption, as study progresses, the researcher can frame more scientific assumptions as the basic concepts regarding that problem, the solutions regarding the particular problem go on evaluating. So hypothesis leads to generation of more scientific hypothesis if it is prepared properly. Hypothesis may take the shape of final hypothesis if it is preliminary framed, and each hypothesis provides an investigator with definite statement which may be objectively tested and accepted or rejected, and leads to interpreting results and drawing conclusion that is related to original purpose. So these are most important 5 functions given by McCashan. Now for our study we will discuss basic importance of hypothesis. Already we have discussed various important functions and characteristics of hypothesis. Now we will summarize the importance of hypothesis in our this coming section. So by guiding the investigator in further investigating, hypothesis serves in seeking answers to tentatively adopted generalization. So for making a hypothesis, we generalize the problem, we generalize the concepts so that we can investigate them, and this function of generalization of adopted problem can be served properly by a nicely correctly framed hypothesis. A hypothesis pinpoints the problem. Without it, research is unfocused and remains like a random empirical wandering. So if the hypothesis is not properly framed, the research work is not properly focused, it doesn't get a direction, and it can be like a haphazard random empirical wandering which may not lead to any conclusion. Next important function of hypothesis is it serves as necessary link between theory and the investigation and determines the relevancy of facts. So from the generated data, from the study, the necessary link between theory and investigation can be established by a proper hypothesis. Hypothesis place clear and specific goals before the research worker and provides researcher with a basis for selecting sample and research procedure to meet these goals. So if hypothesis is properly framed, the researcher is clear about his goal and he can proceed by selecting specific samples, by selecting correct research procedure so that he can achieve the goals of his research work. It links together related facts and information and help in organizing the facts and information into a whole. Hypothesis links together related facts and information and help in organizing them into whole, into a proper complete setup for research work. Importance of hypothesis continue. So the next important of hypothesis is the use of hypothesis prevents a blind search and indiscriminate gathering of masses of data which may later prove irrelevant to the problem under study. So it is one of the important characteristics or side effect of hypothesis that it makes the research work focused. It keeps the researcher focused so that no indiscriminate data is collected, no irrelevant data is collected, so that the study remains focused. Hypotheses build a bridge between the problem and the empirical evidence that may solve the problem. provides guidance and expedites the exploration of the phenomenon under consideration. So, when the hypothesis is properly framed, it makes the research work focused and speed ups as the researcher knows what he want to do, what he want to achieve, and therefore the speed of research is good and it doesn't wander here and there, and the research work is remains focused. Hypothesis enables investigator to examine the factual and conceptual elements that are related to a problem. Next important of hypothesis is the hypothesis indicates not only what to look for is an investigation but how to obtain the data. It not only indicates what kind of data we have to collect, but how and from where the data is to be collected is also indicated by a properly framed hypothesis. It helps in deciding research design. It may suggest what subject, test tools, and techniques should be used and are needed for the proposed research work. It provides the investigator with the most efficient instrument for exploring and explaining the unknown facts. It provides the framework for drawing conclusions and stimulate the investigator for further research studies. So, the good hypothesis must possess the following characteristics, or these characteristics a properly framed hypothesis should possess are: a hypothesis should never formulated in the form of a question. Hypothesis should be empirically testable, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is proven or disapproved. Hypothesis should be specific and precise, should describe one issue only, should not be contradictory. Hypothesis specify variables in which the relation is to be established, and it should be formed either in descriptive or relational form. A good hypothesis must possess the following characteristics: does not conflict with any law of nature which is known to be true. It guarantees that available tools and techniques will be effectively used for the purpose of verification. The hypothesis should be stated as far as possible in most simple terms so that the same is easily understandable by all the concerned. Must explain the facts that gave rise to the need for an explanation, should be amenable to testing within a reasonable time. Generally, what happens when we frame hypothesis, since we are very well known with the area of research, we think that whatever we are stating is understandable to everybody. But whenever we frame a hypothesis, it should not be ambiguous. It should have a definite meaning. It should be framed in a simple terms so that the same meaning is understood by everybody who read or who study that hypothesis. The major sources of hypothesis are from where we can get good hypothesis, we can frame proper scientific hypothesis are specialization of an education field, published studies, abstract research journal, books, seminars on the issue under study. Discussions with fellow researchers can also lead to a very good hypothesis. Current trends on the research area, instructional program undertaken regarding the particular field of study, analysis of the area studied, considering existing practices and needs, extension of the investigation, offshoot of research studies in the field. So, either we can get a very good research hypothesis from educational field, specialized areas of particular research area, publish studies, papers, abstracts, books or seminars on the issue under study. We can discuss with the fellow researchers who are specialized in the particular area of research, and we can get an idea about the hypothesis. We can also go for what are the current trends in the particular area of research, or we can go for advanced instructional programs for the study, and from there we can get an idea about the hypothesis. By studying very deeply and analyzing the area of research, we can get an idea about the hypothesis. What are various existing practices and needs and investigation going on, and when we can go for the extension of those studies, those practices, those needs, we can get an hypothesis. Researcher employs these sources for formulating hypotheses of his or her investigation. He or she, the researcher, has to use two logical processes to draw upon in developing a hypothesis. These processes are known as deductive thinking and inductive thinking. Inductive hypotheses are formed through inductively reasoning from many specific observations to tentative explanation. Inductive reasoning involves forming generalization based on specific incidents we have experienced, observations one have made, or the facts one know to be true or false. So, from one specific concept, the researcher proceeds to generalization of concept in the inductive process of hypothesis formatting. And in deductive hypothesis, the deductive hypotheses are formed through deductively reasoning implications of a theory. Deductive reasoning involves forming specific conclusions based on generalized incidents we have experienced observed. So, in inductive, we go from specification to generalization, and in deductive, we go to specific conclusions based on the generalized conclusions. So, these both the techniques are used for framing a proper hypothesis by researcher. Either go from generalization to specialization or from specialization to generalization. Now we will discuss various types of research hypothesis. So there are around 8 different types of research hypothesis. These are simple hypothesis, complex hypothesis, directional hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, associative hypothesis, causal hypothesis, inductive and deductive hypothesis, and null hypothesis. Inductive and deductive hypothesis we have already discussed. So what is a simple hypothesis? A simple hypothesis is a statement which reflects the relationship between two variables. It predicts the relationship between a single independent variable and a single dependent variable. For example, lower level of exercise postpartum will be associated with greater weight retention. So independent variable is exercise, lower levels of exercise, and dependent variable is weight retention. So in simple hypothesis, only one independent variable and dependent variable is studied and their relationship is established. Complex hypothesis is a statement which reflects the relationship between two or more than two variables. In complex hypothesis, a statement which reflects the relationship between more than two variables is framed. This predicts the relationship between two or more independent variables and two or more dependent variables. Example of complex multiple independent variable hypothesis is the various independent variables are low risk pregnant women who value health highly, believe that Engaging in health promoting behaviors will result in a positive outcome. Pursue fewer barriers to health promoting activities are more likely than other women to attain pregnancy. Next, example of complex multiple dependent variable hypothesis. The implementation of an evidence-based protocol for urinary incontinence will result in following: decreased frequency of urinary incontinence episodes, decreased urine loss per episode, decreased avoidance of objectives among women in ambulatory care setting. So here one independent variable is studied for its relationship with three dependent variables. Next is directional hypothesis. It implies that the researcher is intellectually committed to a particular outcome. They specify the expected direction of the relationship between variables. That is, researcher predicts not only the existence of a relationship between two variables, but what is the nature of that relationship. Scientific journal articles generally use this form of hypothesis. Based on the trends apparent from previous research on this topic, the directional hypothesis is framed. Example, the hypothesis states as high school students who participate in extracurricular activities have a lower GPA than those who do not participate in such activities. This hypothesis provides a definite direction to the prediction. So, directional hypothesis have sets of a definite direction for the research work. Non-directional hypothesis reflects the relationship between two or more variables, but it does not specify the anticipated direction and nature of relationship, such as positive or negative. This form of hypothesis is used in studies where there is no sufficient past research on which to base a prediction, on the basis of which we can predict the relationship. Do not stipulate the direction of the relationship. Example, a non-directional hypothesis would read: the academic performance of high school student is related to their participation in extracurricular activities. Here there is no direction. Whether it affects positively or negatively is not specified. So these kind of hypotheses are called as non-directional hypothesis. Associative hypothesis, next type, it reflects a relationship between variables that occur or exist in natural settings without manipulation. Associative hypothesis propose relationship between variables. When one variable changes, the other changes. It do not indicate cause and effect. This hypothesis is used in correlational research study. So, associative hypothesis predicts a relationship between variables which occur naturally, which are not manipulated, but which can be observed. The academic performance of high school student is related to their IQ and regular study. This is the hypothesis of associative nature. Next type of hypothesis is causal hypothesis. Causal hypothesis propose a cause and effect interaction between two or more variables. It predicts the relationship between two or more dependent and independent variables in experimental or interventional setting. The independent variable is manipulated to cause effect on the dependent variable. The dependent variable is measured to examine the effect created by the independent variable. Example of this kind of hypothesis or causal hypothesis is high school student who participate in extracurricular activities spend less time studying, which leads to a low GPA. This needs the use of statistical techniques to demonstrate the presence of a relationship between the cause and the effect. So when a cause and effect is predicted in hypothesis, generally that kind of hypothesis is called as causal hypothesis. It needs to show the significant relationship using statistical tools. A need to rule out the possibility that the effect is a result of the cause other than what the study has examined is also studied in experimentation to prove a causal hypothesis. Next, most important is null hypothesis. This is a hypothesis that proposes no relationship or difference between two variables. It is also known as statistical hypothesis and is used for statistical testing and interpretation of statistical outcomes. This is the conventional approach to making a prediction. It involves a statement that says there is no relationship between two groups that the researcher compares on a certain variable. The hypothesis may also state that there is no significant difference between the different groups are compared with respect to a particular variable. So when no relationship is predicted, no dependency is predicted in a hypothesis, it is called as null hypothesis. For example, there is no difference in the academic performance of high school students who participate in extracurricular activities and those who do not participate in such activities is a null hypothesis. It asserts that there is no true difference in the sample statistics and population parameter under consideration. Hence the word null, which means invalid, void, or amounting to nothing, and that the difference found is accidentally arising out of the functions of sampling. It is denoted as HO. Alternate or research hypothesis. This hypothesis proposes a relationship between two or more variables symbolized as H1. For example, if a researcher was interested in examining the relationship between music and emotion, the researcher may believe that there is a relationship between music and emotion. H1, the research or alternative hypothesis states music at a fast tempo is related to participants as being happier than music at a slow tempo. Null hypothesis states music at a fast tempo and at slow tempo is related to the same in the happiness by participants. The two hypotheses we propose to test must be mutually exclusive, that when one is true, the other must be false. They must be exhaustive, they must include all possible consequences. So, thank you. This is all about research hypothesis. If you like this video and content of this video, please do subscribe my channel Khobra's Academy. Thank you.